Okay, so let's say hi to everybody.
Hello.
Hi, everybody. So we are back, and this week we are going to talk about self-conscious emotions.
Okay.
Based on a article that we read in a smaller book this time called The Self.
Okay.
So I did give you a little homework, didn't I?
You did.
So you were going to think about events.
I was thinking about, oh God, shame. Three events that I've personally experienced. Shame, pride,
and guilt.
And guilt.
Right. Shame, pride, and guilt. So why don't you pick one?
Let's do pride. First.
So let's talk about an event where that emotion came into play.
Okay. So I was at gym class, and I'm not a very basketball-y person. Like, I used to play basketball. I'm more like a soccer person, but we were doing a basketball unit, and we were playing basketball. Obviously, it's what you do in a basketball unit. And I was on a team with two other guys. Not going to say their name. Well, you know what? They probably don't know them. Nick and Connor. And they're both, big, basketball. Yeah, we're guys, and we play basketball. And I was just this girl that didn't play basketball. And so I was like, oh, they're going to think I'm, really bad at basketball and stuff. And I was, playing, right? And I wasn't really doing anything. They were passing me, but, I wasn't really doing anything. And then I swished the ball. And they were like, yeah, take it! And I was like, yay. So that was, pride.
Okay, so you felt proud of yourself.
Yeah, I was like, just swish the ball.
So when you first swished that ball, right, the minute it swished and it went in, how did you feel inside?
So I was very proud of myself, and the guys made it even better, so I was like, yay.
So why was swishing the ball, why would that create a feeling of pride?
Because I can't play basketball.
So what were you thinking, how did you feel about yourself when you went onto the court, and what were your expectations?
I was like, I'm not going to get past. When I went on the court, I was like, I'm not a basketball person, I'm a soccer person. If we were playing soccer, I'd beat everybody in this room, but I'm not. Basketball. So, I was, kind of low expectations. I was like, I'm just going to sit in the corner or stand in the corner and see if somebody needs to pass me the ball. And then once I swished it, I was like, hey, I'm actually useful. This is exciting.
Okay, good job. And so let me ask you a kind of a funny question. If you had been playing basketball by yourself in the gym and there was nobody there and you swished the ball,
I wouldn't have cared.
So you wouldn't have felt that sense of pride?
I would have been like, I would have cared. I would have been like, yeah, good job, Tegan. But I wouldn't have been like, because everybody in the school is everybody in my gym class was watching, and all the guys were like, yeah, Tegan, and I was like, but just by myself, I would have been like, oh, that was cool. I feel like if people are celebrating that you've done something, you feel more pride because you're like, hey, everybody knows that I did this, and it's really cool, and I'm really proud of myself that I actually did this. So I feel like it's important that other people see you doing it.
So why do you think that is important?
Mostly motivation, because if you do something that's really cool and nobody cares, nobody's even looking at you, or they're just kind of like, oh, that doesn't really matter, you're going to be like, hey, I did something, but people don't like it, so maybe I shouldn't do it again. But if people are like, yeah, good job, but you can do it, or stuff, you're going to be more motivated to do it again, and then you'll just get better at whatever. Okay. So I was in social studies class, and I have many guilt situations. And there's this kid in my social studies class who loves to sing. And so he was sing the song. I was like, can you please stop? Can you please stop? He's like, I'm singing. So he's sing the song. And then I go, who wrote the song again? And he said the writer. And I'm like, let's keep it that way. And all of his friends are like, oh, you just got roasted by Tegan. And I was like, and then he looked really sad. And I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. And I feel really guilty because I was like, that was mean. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about why you started getting those feelings.
Well, because, I felt like it was kind of it wasn't bothering. He was singing kind of soft. He was like, nah. And I was like, can you, stop? And he's like, nah. And I was like, can you stop? And then I, kind of yelled at him, and I kind of, made him feel kind of bad and stuff. I don't know. I feel like it wasn't the nicest thing to say. I feel like I could have.
So, why do you think you got an emotion that made you feel bad about something you did to somebody else. Where do you think that came from? Like, you could have not felt bad.
I didn't have control.
But why do you... No, you could have not felt bad.
Yeah.
But you felt bad.
Yeah.
You felt guilty.
Yeah.
So where did that idea that what's right and what's not right is a way to treat somebody, where did that come from?
My mother.
Well, okay. So talk a little bit more about, you don't necessarily have to use me, but the idea that you knew somewhere in your heart that was not a nice thing to do.
Yeah.
Where did that knowledge come from that you knew that?
Well, I feel like facial features and like body language is a big part of that, because if like you roast someone or you say something to someone or you like do something and they're just like laughing and smiling, you're gonna be like, oh, no, I didn't hurt their feelings there. But he was kind of like looking really sad and down. He looked kind of embarrassed, and I was like, oh, that must have been a mean thing to say. I shouldn't have said that. I don't really like it, but I'm very sensitive to people's feelings. Like if my friends are like, oh, it doesn't matter what they say, we can just do this. I'm like, no, I feel bad. I'm like that kind of person.
So you think of yourself as someone who's
Yeah.
sensitive to other people's feelings. That's how you see yourself, right?
Yeah.
So you did something, you had behavior that you noticed afterwards made somebody feel bad.
Yes.
So you felt guilty.
I did.
So can you see that how you thought about yourself and what you were doing didn't match up?
They collided.
Right? And because they collided, it created a feeling of guilt,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yes.
Did you feel that the behavior that you did, the kind of teasing the kid and making him feel bad, was something that you could fix, like you could change? Like
No.
you knew you could stop yourself from doing it if you didn't want to. You knew that, like, you're not going to do that again. You recognized it. Or did
Yeah.
you feel like you as a human being were a bad person, and that...
No, I was like, well, it's one of those things where like you're in a moment and you're not controlled your words. It just kind of blurts out. But I didn't feel like I'm a horrible person. Oh my God. I was kind of like, oh, well, I did that, and like I'll just move on. So yeah, I didn't feel like I was a horrible person. No.
Okay. Okay, so let's talk about shame.
Yes, I have a very good story.
You do?
I do.
All right, let's hear
Okay,
your story.
so you guys, people watching probably don't know, but I do have dyslexia. Dyslexia is like a language-based learning disability where it's harder for us to process and sound out words. Basically, I can't read very well. So I found out I had dyslexia around second grade.
Second
In the family. So I wasn't able to read clocks very well. And my parents were just like, oh, she's just not trying. And my mom was thinking, wait, maybe she really can't read clocks very well. So they took me into my school. My school was like, oh, she doesn't have it. It's fine. And then they took me to another teacher, Dr. Lowry, who's like the best. And she's like, yep, Tegan has dyslexia. And I didn't know what that was, so she told me. And I was mortified. I was like, oh my God, I have something wrong with my brain. My brain's literally like, I was so ashamed that I had dyslexia, and I didn't want anybody to know. And the teachers knew, obviously, and they would make it even worse. They wouldn't let me read in front of the class. They would give me a choice. They're like, do you want to take the test or do you not want to take the test? And that just like built up. And I just I was so ashamed of it. I didn't want to tell anyone. I thought I had like a deformity or something. Like I was like stupid and like my brain didn't work at all, or like it was horrible. And like I'm like don't even belong in society. And it was just like, I was mortified.
You were going to be sort of rejected
Yeah.
from society. Okay. So a lot of people who kind of have that shame about themselves, it just makes them really, like they don't know how to handle it. And so instead of dealing with it, what do you think happens? What kind of people do these people turn out to be? What kind of personalities do you think they have?
I think they become very sad, and maybe even like the worst case scenarios, if it's something really bad that you're ashamed about, like they become like depressed. But I feel like you can just become like cast away, like you just like you isolate yourself, you don't let anybody in, you build a wall, and that's bad. Don't build a wall. things.
So keeping it all
Yeah.
in and not sharing.
Just
it.
because you're ashamed. I think shame is very dangerous.
Yeah. Say more about that.
I feel like shame causes you to keep your mouth closed. And if your mouth is closed, then you can't tell anybody, obviously. And then you can't get help. And you also can't, I feel like if you tell somebody, you feel better about it. And so that also, like, shame's just, we should not have shame. That's not
Okay.
good.
And but then you said you went to Landmark, so you still had dyslexia. Why did your feelings
Well,
change?
because everybody else had dyslexia too, so I was like, yo, I got all, like, my people here, and I'm, like, not the only one. Also, the teachers told us that dyslexia is an amazing thing, just because you lose some things, like writing, reading, you can't really read very well, can't comprehend very well. You can't understand words very well. You gain, like, dyslexic people are more creative. Our right side of the brain works better. We think outside the box more. Like, people, Landmark kind of helped me learn that, and I was like, this is pretty cool. I'm glad I have dyslexia. Honestly, I like my defective brain.
Okay. And so just really quickly to tell me a little bit about your sense of self-worth and your self-esteem when you found out you got dyslexia and then after you've been going to Landmark.
When I found out I had dyslexia, it felt like literally felt like the whole the room was like literally caving in on me, and I couldn't breathe. I was like, wait, my brain. I felt like a part of my brain was literally like torn out and threw in the garbage because I was like, wait, I have dyslexia. Like, it was horrible, and I was just like, I was blocking people out, and like,
You were kind of angry.
I was really mad. And then I went to Landmark, and I was like really happy because everybody there was like me. And now any chance I get, I'm like, hey, I have dyslexia, in case you didn't know.
So it sounds like you're almost proud.
I'm very proud of it. Wow.
So you've turned
I love it. Yeah.
shame into
Pride,
pride.
which is good.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I feel like they're kind of the same things. Like hate and love, they're kind of the same things. Because one can turn into the other. So like, wow, those two go together really well.
That's pretty awesome that you figured that out.
Yeah.
But I think we're done.
All right.
Thanks for watching again, everybody.
Bye.
Doing this. All I know is things are moving quick. That's convenient for me because that's how I live. Now they see me out here.